Hey guys, Paul Nixon here, back in the amateur kitchen. Today I'm going to make a lasagna. But first I'm going to make my sauce. Make my sauce from tomatoes, and then I'm going to make a lasagna. I'm going to use a cookbook for both of these things. This is the Tucci cookbook by Stanley Tucci. Love Stanley Tucci, one of my favorite actors, and got some books that are really good too, and some recipes that are cool. So I'm going to use one of his recipes. I'm going to add a couple things to it to kind of make it my own. But here we go. First, I have to prep all my ingredients, and I left that part out on purpose. I mean, I didn't do it already, I should say. So my ingredients: I have tomatoes, I have an onion, got some basil there. There's a carrot. I'll talk about the carrot in a little bit. There is some garlic, salt, and pepper, olive oil, butter, mushrooms, a green pepper. The cheese is for my actual lasagna, so I'm gonna move that out of the way here in just a second. As you can see, I have blocks of cheese, the cheese inside these containers was blocks, and I shredded it already. So I'm gonna shred my own cheese. I'm gonna kind of do all the things myself as much as possible. I'm really working towards just less processed food. It's kind of my goal here. I want to do less stuff I want to eat less stuff that's processed for me. So I've made some broth recently and stuff, and yeah, so here we go. Let's start. Let's get it chopping. So the carrot interesting. So I just saw a thing from a different chef. Well, I mean, of course, Stanley Tucci is not known as a chef, but I saw this thing from a different chef. I was watching, I think it was on like YouTube or something, and she was like, she puts a carrot in her sauce to give it natural sweetness, and I'm like, okay, natural sweetness, perfect. I'm trying to decrease processed food. I'm trying to decrease sugar. Right? I want my sauce to be good. The sauce doesn't have to be sweet to be good. I like the sauce savory, but I was like, let me try it. So I'm gonna actually add carrot. I'm gonna skin it here in a minute. I'm gonna add carrot to my sauce when it comes to simmering. I'll add that and just kind of see what happens.
The church kind of puts such negative connotations on such things and makes it seem like God is such this scary person and all he wants to do is love us. Even though he has all these different omnis, the first one that the book talks about is how he's all loving. So even all the other ones, even all powerful, is secondary to the fact that he just wants to love.
The other thing I noticed about Italian cooking, or at least Stanley Tucci's version of Italian cooking, right, is that it's really simple. They don't use a lot of ingredients. They like to use fresh, high quality, raw ingredients as much as possible. And like, for example, when I learned how to make, I told you I learned how to make fettuccine alfredo, and I learned it the American way, which includes cream. Well, the Italian version does not include cream. There's no cream in Italian fettuccine alfredo. It's just butter, Parmesan cheese, and salt. That's it. And they use some of the water from the noodles to help give it the texture that you're looking for. But no cream in Italian fettuccine. I mean, this comes from the cheese and the butter coming together, and you mix, right? So if you've ever seen one of these cooks on TV or something make fettuccine alfredo, like, that's actually really interesting. But it's just the 3 ingredients. And in the book that I read, Stanley Tucci talks about, he doesn't understand why people add other things to the fettuccine. Why would you add chicken? Or why would you add broccoli or whatever? Of course, I'm an American, so I like my fettuccine with chicken and broccoli, and I also like it with cream. But I just noticed that they just use fewer ingredients than we do. So, like I said, I'm adding all this stuff, my own sauce, because I'm not trying to impress anybody. I just want a delicious meal. And I like onions. I mean, I like onions too, but I like mushrooms. So, mushrooms are going in my sauce. But first, onions. Get those onions going. Give them a couple of minutes before I add my peppers and my mushrooms. Alright, got my immersion blender. Alright, here we go. Immerse. Deal with your freestyle. Alright, so he says add the basil. It's about that. Not measuring, just eyeballing. Alright, we're gonna put that down. We're gonna let that simmer. What's the cover? I don't remember. Let's go look at the recipe. And this is where Giada's influence. You know what? I want this redder. I want this redder than this. So I'm going to add some tomato paste, which I have. Tomato paste I have in the fridge. I'll add about a teaspoon. Stir it up. And here's Giada carrot. Just gonna drop it in there. See what happens. It's supposed to give it a natural sweetness. We shall see. Alright, just about done with everything. Ready to build the lasagna. I'm going to taste the sauce first though and see how that goes. Alright, let's see how this goes. Mix it up a little bit more. Smell good. Just going to need some salt. Got the sweetness though. And see, the longer I let this simmer, the more the flavor is going to kind of settle and deepen. And that's what I want to happen. So what I'm going to do here is I'm not going to build my lasagna yet. I'm going to wait. Alright, I'm just going to let the sauce simmer for like 30 minutes.
As the author talks about the omnis, it puts into perspective why there is no such thing as ridiculous prayer. How many layers of power and this and that and all that stuff. And then you go into ridiculous prayers and it talks about what kind of prayers he probably will not answer or doesn't go, or why he does not. It's like, why doesn't he? But it explains in the previous chapter of his character and why he might not or might do something. But I really liked ridiculous prayers because I'm scared to ask for certain things. And so when I read it, it was like, why are you ever scared to ask for something? There's no such thing as a prayer that's too much for God.
Alright, so the sauce is done. Well, almost done. We're going to finish it with the rest of the basil that we chopped previously. And give it a stir. The sauce is finished. I tasted it again and it is what I imagined. It's delicious. It tastes very fresh, you know. That's the thing about changing the way you cook, right? You end up changing the way you eat too, and your taste buds are used to something. You give them something else, it might taste a little different, a little weird. Alright, we're about ready. I'm going to take the lasagna out of the oven, and it should be about done. Spilled over just a little bit. Because of how high I had it in the dish. Alright, that's it. Homemade sauce, homemade lasagna. Gonna eat it in a little bit. Well, it's gotta rest for a while. Then we're gonna eat it. Peace.